Okay. So I haven't been posting for a couple of different, oops, I don't know what's going on here. A couple of different reasons.
And speaking of boom,
All right. I think that's a little loud. A couple of different reasons, mainly just because of, I would have to say more just personal issues. But I wanted to talk about um, this. Oh, for Pete's sake. There we go.
we will return to that.
All right. I'm mirroring Jimmy Dore right now because this kind of sums things up. And then I'm going to a piece by Judge Napolitano and Jeffrey Sachs. Um, at any rate, I have my mind on a lot of things, so if I wander, just I'll try to rein myself in. I was really psyched um, when Trump and Vance put Zelensky in his place. You had Musk there. You had just this great team, and you knew things were going to change. But no offense to Europeans out there, but the Euros leaders just kept pounding him and pounding him and pounding him, and then Netan, and then I guess it's okay to say Mossad now, and it's also I guess it's okay to say the word fuck. Um, you know, something that would have been that I found when Trump did that. You said fucking this, that, the other. Um, as president of the United States, he should be a statesman that we're looking up to. I don't know what they're fucking doing. He's just playing around now. He's just fucking around now. I mean, the dude is completely off the wall. Because he was flipped by someone. And no, I don't think it has anything to do with Epstein. Oh, I do have this Virginia Jeffrey, whatever her name is. Um, her recording that maybe will. I wish I would have had it pulled up. If I can find it really fast, I will. Um, Not sure if I can. But she mentions that Barack Obama was part of this part very closely associated with um, Epstein, and she said it was the death call, or it was her security call, or whatever, in case something would happen to her. I don't know what happened to her. Um. Okay, so I'm not really sure if we should tie that in right now. But let's go back to Trump. We can, but I just thought of it now. I'd have that pulled up. So Trump really did want to end these conflicts and focus on domestic policy, which is why I voted for him. And it's gone from that to a schizophrenic foreign policy that right now I can't even listen to Trump's voice. It is almost as bad as Hillary Clinton, her speaking style, and every 2 seconds. That drove me nuts. But it's almost as hard listening to Trump now as it was listening to Obama. And Biden was just completely always gone. You know, Harris was just a complete nut job. I don't know how our country is still standing, but it's falling. It's in a it's in a bad decline. And then you have all this AI stuff coming out right now, which I kind of have been a victim on. Because I went to Grok, I've gone to Twitter, I said the words in context to something really negative that Trump said, and I just said, go to, and I didn't even spell the word out. I spelled H*LL. I got suspended for a week, like right away. It was an algorithm for violence. I want you to think about that. For violence. Just telling someone to go to hell is not like saying, hey, I'm going to come and, stab your heart out or whatever, It's just, hey, no, just go to hell. Sick of it. Then when I got back on, which was Friday, I was going through all the steps because now all the steps are really weird. And they have to verify I'm human. They have to go through reCAPTCHA, blah, 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 blah. Okay, and I'm like, wow, okay, this is bizarre. And, okay. I don't really even do much on Twitter. I mean, I had a nice little following going. I kind of enjoyed the news parts that I was reading. Didn't really have, a lot of Twitter friends because they never would boost any of my posts because I'm not verified. I'm not going to pay for this. I'm not going to give more information, even though they have it already anyway. And what happened was I thought I read something kind of weird, so I used the back arrow real quick. And then I tried to get back to, back to the key or the button that said back to Twitter. And instead of doing that, it said, you're suspicious. What's wrong with you? You can't get back on this account. Sorry, you're locked up again. And it just totally locked my account down for suspicious activity because it kept saying we're sending an email to my email address and it would never show up. And I'm like, I have no idea what's going on. None. So I started another account and I noticed, I was replying. I always get reactions to my replies. And I had the account laying around for a while, a couple of years, I guess, and got back in there. And I went to Twitter, I typed the problem, and they said, yeah, we'll get back to you. And I wasn't sure that they got my message. So when I went back to type the problem in again, it just said, yeah, you're in the queue. I'm like, what the fuck is this shit? So then I go to my new account, and I know that they're not showing my tweets or my posts. And they were talking. I was in a post where somebody was mentioning this Bob Villan, Vylan, but somebody typed in Dylan, and I said, well, it's a well-known. Well, I suppose it's wrong for me to say it's a well-known fact, but his name is Robert Zimmerman, and he grew up in Duluth, Minnesota, and his parents were all, military operatives, his family, and, he was most likely used in some various programs. When folk music was popular in the 60s, before rock took over by people like Stones, Hendrix, etc. And I've read lengthy pieces about him and people he hung out with in New York City and all that, and then he changes his name, as they all do. And so I said, well, Bob Dylan, but I didn't know they were referring to Bob Villan, who went on stage and started chanting some stuff that I'm not even going to repeat here. And I saw him, like I saw what he looked like and stuff. And I'm beginning to wonder if that's not an operation to see who reacts and what their reactions are, to see who dislikes the country over there and what they're doing, which is a genocide. And apparently it's, you know, to the point right now where it's illegal for me to even talk about this stuff. And then I realized, wow, I am really, and then I'm getting, all of a sudden I'm like, get this message from Twitter. And I'm like, oh, somebody's finally reading my post. And it says, we've marked your account as probable spam due to violent content. I'm like, violent content? I just said, there are stories available and articles written about Dylan, the folk artist. And but the AI isn't working. You see what I'm saying? Because I went on Grok and I told them exactly what happened. I told Grok this, and Grok said, yeah, this sounds like a mistake. It's the algorithms and the AI, and it's auto-generated, and it picked up your post and automatic. I mean, it was like 1,000, boom, just like that. This other post, when I said that, Dylan was an operative, Bob Dylan, and I took the post out of context. I never heard of someone named Bob Dylan. I think the whole thing stinks to high heaven and sounds like a psyop. That doesn't sound like something that someone would normally do at a concert. I mean, I've been to many concerts. No one's yelled death to a political group or a specific group of people, even though you know what I'm saying. I mean, it's kind of very often it's almost like too over the top to be real. But since I responded to this tweet, to this post, and said this is most likely, that Dylan was an operative, they must think that I'm already recognizing that villain is an operative. So now my posts are considered dangerous. And I'm like, oh my God. And it's because of AI, misinterpretation. And I'm going to say, if this is how good AI works, that's scary. It's like I've been put in some group that says like I'm dangerous or I wish violence upon others, which I'm here. Are you kidding? For starters, I'm still on crutches and I'm still working on ambulating alone, which I can kind of do. Looks pretty wobbly. I mean, I look injured, but at least I'm doing it, but it's the furthest thing from my mind. The area I live in, no, this is a different world that I'm in out here, in my particular neighborhood here. It's very close to Lake Michigan. It's more, the people are a little more level-headed. Okay. So that's what concerns me about AI. It doesn't, because I think it's going to work, but it doesn't, or if it's, how can I say, it clearly has been, the ante has been upped on places like Twitter and stuff. But from what I can tell, it's making some very serious mistakes. And I mean, it almost seems like that space itself, X, is really ultra being compromised in some fashion, or something seems very wrong with what's going on that site right now. Real weird. So I'm just letting it kind of skip by and see what happens. And they're temporarily not, or they're temporarily marking my posts at the end. If I post anything, as probable spam or violent behavior. Posting an article saying so and so worked for the government in the 60s. Okay. And I knew that it was shadow banning me. So I'll just stay on the site as long as they decide they will allow me. I don't know. I can't even believe it. I mean, I read. All right, let's go to this. This describes what's going on right now. And I will be laughing. This is a comedian, and he has another comedian that does impersonations on.
Hey, this is Jimmy. Who's this?
Hey, what's up, dude? It's JD Vance. Boom.
Oh,
I'm going to have to turn the volume down just a little, guys. I'm sorry. I think this should be okay.
hey, Mr. Vice President. How are you?
And speaking of boom, we will return to that topic shortly. Boom, boom, boom.
All right. Feels like forever since I talked to you. I've been away from my show for a while. What's been going on?
Well, we had a whole ass war while you were gone. It's called the 12-Day War now. I've always wanted to name a war. Like when I was growing up, I was like, who gets to do that?
Yeah.
Name the war. Anyway, now I have a say in it, which is pretty cool. Anyway, yeah, it was like 12 days long. So you missed the whole thing.
Yeah, well, just because I'm out of the studio doesn't mean I'm not aware of what's happening.
Oh, okay, that's cool. I just didn't know your whole deal. But yeah, it was a huge success, I'd say. And as well, a real moment of growth for me personally.
Really? How?
Well, I always have been one of those anti-interventionist, war-hesitant Republicans who criticized our foreign policy over the past 25 years. But since Trump decided to just fucking bomb Iran, I had to go along with it and figure out a way to completely change my opinion without looking like a turncoat.
Yeah.
And I really surprised myself with how quickly I could do that.
Right.
I mean, obviously, I've changed my positions to suit my political aspirations in the past, but never so quickly in like 2 days. But I did it, and I'm proud of myself.
That's really great, Mr. Vice President.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm pretty stoked. And then the other day, I did something really cool. I gave a speech in front of Republican donors in Ohio, and I'm not going to lie, I'm pretty sure it made history.
Why is that?
Because I unveiled what I call the Trump doctrine. That's right, you heard me. A new doctrine just dropped.
A new doctrine?
A new doctrine. Not every president gets one. And hell, the ones that do, sometimes that's their like main thing. The Monroe Doctrine, that's important as shit. But probably the only thing most people know about Monroe. Monroe, the gay dude from Too Close to Comfort, was president in the 1800s? I did not know that.
Okay, what is the Trump doctrine?
I'm glad you asked, Jimmy. The Trump doctrine was born out of the events of the 12-Day War. Simply put, it states three things. First one, boom, America needs to clearly state its interests, like Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon, or whatever else Donald Trump feels like. Two, boom, we aggressively try diplomacy to make it happen for like 2 or 3 days or until the president gets mad or impatient or bored. And then three, big boom, if diplomacy fails, we use swift and terrible military action to achieve the goal and then get the heck out. Boom, boom, boom.
Oh, I see.
So that not only describes sort of what happened with Iran, but we'll apply that to all situations moving forward, assuming that they will have similar outcomes. I don't really see a problem with assuming that.
That's not really a doctrine. That's just a simplistic strategy. You're basically announcing that moving forward, your foreign policy is going to be devoid of tact and nuance.
No, I'm pretty sure that's a doctrine.
Now, also, experts are now saying that the airstrikes did not end Iran's nuclear capabilities. So all of that was for nothing.
Okay, well, that's sort of like a Schrodinger's cat thing that can be good or bad at the same time. If they still have enriched uranium, then that's an excuse to invade them again later if that's what Israel wants us to do. But if they don't, then we were successful. Whether they do or don't still have uranium doesn't actually matter in real life, just what we claim. I'm really getting the hang of this whole thing, and it's exhilarating.
Clearly.
Now, I want you to. This is a comedy bit. But what he's saying is actually true, which makes it pretty sad because. Okay, let's just do this.
Also, during my speech, I gave the middle finger. That was cool, and that made headlines, which makes me look pretty awesome. The first bearded VP to flip the bird, and this just a day after Trump dropped the F-bomb into a news camera. That's definitely a first.
Yeah, what's going on here?
Well, for Trump's second term, we've taken on sort of a new theme, which is we're the fuck you administration. Yeah, we say fuck and flip the bird, and if you don't like it, fuck you. Don't like Israel doing genocide? Fuck you, we don't care. Don't like ICE tearing apart families? Fuck you, pay me. You know, from Goodfellas?
Yeah.
Anyway, that's sort of the vibe.
I see.
It's true right now, though.
And dropping those bunker busters on Iran was a serious fuck you. Fuck you, boom. So we're just having fun, man.
It sounds like it. Anyway, what do you think that?
Fuck you. No, I'm just kidding, man. I'm kidding. Sometimes we just say it because it's fun. People get really freaked out when they see the people in charge don't really care about anything or have principles. So it's fun just to pop off those superfluous fuck yous now and again.
It sounds like a real party over there.
Yeah, man, we don't know where it's all going, but it's going somewhere for sure. Hey, man, always love rapping with you. Glad you're back. Those other dudes are cool, but they're not Big Daddy. We're Big Daddy 2. Trump is Big Daddy 1. So anyway, a very not fuck you to you, sir, and I will speak with you again soon. Veep out. Boom.
Okay, we're going to do it again. Well, maybe not. All right, let's. Okay, go.
Who's this?
Hey, what's up, dude? It's J.D. Vance. Boom.
Oh, hey, Mr. Vice President. How are you?
And speaking of boom, we will return to that topic shortly. Boom, boom, boom.
All right. Feels like forever since I talked to you. I've been away from my show for a while. What's been going on?
Well, we had a whole ass war while you were gone. It's called the 12-Day War now. I've always wanted to name a war. Like when I was growing up, I was like, who gets to do that?
Yeah.
Name the war. Anyway, now I have a say in it, which is pretty cool. Anyway, yeah, it was like 12 days long. So you missed the whole thing.
Yeah, well, just because I'm out of the studio doesn't mean I'm not aware of what's happening.
Oh, okay. That's cool. I just didn't know your whole deal. But, yeah, it was a huge success, I'd say. And, as well, a real moment of growth for me personally.
Really? How?
Well, I always have been one of those anti-interventionist, war-hesitant Republicans who criticized our foreign policy over the past 25 years. But since Trump decided to just fucking bomb Iran, I had to go along with it and figure out a way to completely change my opinion without looking like a turncoat.
Yeah.
And I really surprised myself with how quickly I could do that.
Right.
I mean, obviously, I've changed my positions to suit my political aspirations.
Okay, so this is kind of where it starts. He's just changing, just because because he kind of has to, because we have an insane administration right now. I mean, even Tulsi has flipped. What's going on there? I'm not really quite understanding this. But okay, so that's his first point. Well, I just, say this thing one day and this thing the next day. How would anybody be able to trust anyone? And the other side is even worse. They're just, they're just, do I want to say insane? I mean, they're really bad. I mean, Chuck Schumer? Good God, that guy is just, he's a monster. I don't see one person who, I see these people as dangerous. Like, I didn't sleep. I mean, was up. Obama's presidency fucked up so many people I know personally, because just that particular age group, and especially the people that made it after working their ass off all during the 80s and 90s, and that had solid, excellent paying 6-figure jobs. And that just, boom, as JD Vance would say, the comedic JD Vance, just boom, gone. And it wasn't just me. I could start ticking off names and companies and people, and they'd be okay one day. The next day they'd say, oh my God, it happened to me now. I got out. I just exited out on my own. I mean, it was, well, it was literally, my job was becoming illegal. And healthcare became death care. It used to be medical care, the medical field. Now it's health. But it's not health. It's sort of like death management. And they prey upon babies and the elderly and just hope to fuck you don't get sick in the middle there. But that's okay, because you can go to Pizza Hut, Dunkin', the Sub Sandwich Shop, McDonald's, Wendy's, Popeyes. You can even have it delivered to your door. And you don't even have to move off that couch. Well, I suppose you'd have to go to the door and get it. And you can do it all on your tracking device, your Obama phone, or the tracking device that you purchase yourself. Okay, and now I feel like I'm right back to 2009. I mean, this is just crazy. 3 wars, and then here's even more crazy. So before Trump gets in office, before the inauguration, he's like, yeah, we're staying out of the Syria situation. Then he lifts sanctions and says that this Al Qaeda guy is a good guy. So we were fighting him and trying to kill his army, and now and they're killing Christians. And then you have these evangelicals that read the Schofield Bible, and they are just crazy. And then you have all kinds of things coming at you: disinformation, real information, like psyops type people. And then if you're smart enough to pick up on some of this shit and you post it in public, AI snatches you and says, wait a minute, you're dangerous. I mean, I know what my IQ is. And it's higher than average, I might say. And no, I'm not a genius. But I can do a lot of different things that the average person couldn't. But I believe that if people do apply themselves, they can take whatever talent they have and really build upon it. But I think that's slowly going away because you are going to be controlled because you're dangerous. Posting something about Bob Dylan was dangerous. Wow. That his real name was Bob Zimmerman and his father was Intel, worked at some base or some spiel up in Duluth, Minnesota. Someone who I think is like half there and half not is Candace Owens. I'd be very careful. And people just think she is like it. And she is quite narcissistic. If you would listen to a podcast she does, it's all me, I, me, I, me, my, me. A lot, and she's what is she, a millennial, a Gen Z or whatever? A lot of those, like that group does that. It's like overboard. All right.
Operations in the past, but never so quickly in like 2 days. But I did it, and I'm proud of myself. Well, I always had been one of those anti-interventionist, war-hesitant Republicans who criticized our foreign policy over.
We really don't know that though, because you were working for Peter Thiel and working in Hollywood, and then you somehow got a Senate seat and you were placed in that VP position somehow. And I was one person that did not like JD. I still think I don't like his wife. I think his kids are completely out of control and ill-disciplined, and for their age, I do not believe that they behave properly or respectfully. They really haven't. It's just quite obvious. And I think his whole Catholic thing is a big fake phony fraud too. I mean, if he's this big Catholic VP, like why isn't he at Mass? And I'm going to raise my children Catholic. Well, then are they getting communion yet? Or have they been doing, CCD and stuff like that? No. They're not getting sacraments. Because that would be a big deal. Because his oldest son is at the age where he would have made his first Holy Communion. And I'm sure Usha would have made some sort of a deal out of that. With a dress or a new hairstyle with her gray, black hair. Sort of his and hers, they match. I mean, I'm sure Usha has a stylist. JD has a makeup artist. I don't even mind that. JD was wearing makeup a long time ago. I don't even mind the makeup anymore. But this Hegseth guy, oh my God. Like if I feel visceral about him. I didn't believe the rape thing. I thought it was cool when he was out running with the troops in Germany. I saw his wife. And I looked at her and I thought, my God, that woman didn't even run a comb through her hair. She's not attractive. So I could see how he'd stray. He's got a makeup artist on his staff. I mean, you are paying that guy for that guy's hair and makeup guy so he can go on camera and say, yeah, we're going to kick the shit out of people. Oh no, our military is so wonderful. Let's keep using them for the small country in the Middle East. All right, let's continue on with JD. So what I'm saying is JD has changed. He loved Obama. And he flipped over to Trump. Someone told him to. Although actually, for some reason, he doesn't bother me that much yet. That'll come when he gets elected. But Trump right now, I can't even listen to him. I can't look at him. I can't stand him. And I was the biggest MAGA supporter. I have never said anything negative publicly on this channel about him ever. Maybe like once or twice he might have done something that I disagreed with back in like 2018. Like that couple of years of my life before the big C hit, those were the best years, some of the best years I've had in the 21st century. How's that? I mean, it was just, I was like really, like my life was like super happy and good. You know, I mean, yeah, there were many things that were going on personally that were very difficult, but everybody has personal problems, right? But as far as just there were many things that were very, 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 very positive for me. And it went to shit pretty quickly in 2020. All right, so we're at the point where he says he changes his political opinion to see, you know, just to stay in the group, in the loop there.
Over the past 25 years. But since Trump decided to just fucking bomb Iran, I had to go along with it and figure out a way to completely change my opinion without looking like a turncoat.
Yeah.
And I really surprised myself with how quickly I could do that.
Right.
I mean, obviously, I've changed my positions to suit my political aspirations in the past, but never so quickly in like 2 days. But I did it, and I'm proud of myself.
That's really great, Mr. Vice President.
That's kind of like what happened. This is comedy, but that is what happened.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm pretty stoked. And then the other day I did something really cool. I gave a speech in front of Republican donors in Ohio, and I'm not going to lie, I'm pretty sure it made history.
Why is that?
Because I unveiled what I call the Trump doctrine. That's right, you heard me. A new doctrine just dropped.
A new doctrine?
A new doctrine. Not every president gets one. And hell, the ones that do, sometimes that's their like main thing. The Monroe Doctrine, that's important as shit. But probably the only thing most people know about Monroe. Monroe, the gay dude from Too Close to Comfort, was president in the 1800s? I did not know that.
Okay, what is the Trump doctrine?
I'm glad you asked, Jimmy. The Trump doctrine was born out of the events of the 12-Day War. Simply put, it states three things. First one, boom, America needs to clearly state its interests, like Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon, or whatever else Donald Trump feels like. Two, boom, we aggressively try diplomacy to make it happen for like 2 or 3 days or until the president gets mad or impatient or bored. And then three, big boom, if diplomacy fails, we use swift and terrible military action to achieve the goal and then get the heck out. Boom, boom, boom.
I wonder what they edited out there.
I see.
So that not only describes sort of what happened with Iran, but we'll apply that to all situations moving forward, assuming that they will have similar outcomes. I don't really see a problem with assuming that.
That's not really a doctrine. That's just a simplistic strategy. You're basically announcing that moving forward, your foreign policy is going to be devoid of tact and nuance.
No, I'm pretty sure that's a doctrine.
No, also, experts are now saying that the airstrikes did not end Iran's nuclear capabilities. So all of that was for nothing.
Okay, well, that's sort of like a Schrodinger's cat thing that can be good or bad at the same time. If they still have enriched uranium, then that's an excuse to invade them again later, if that's
Right there. We thought we got it, but we didn't, so we're gonna have to go back in because they're gonna kill us. I'm laying in bed at night saying, "Oh my God, Iran might nuke me. I might not wake up." No, I'm not. Now, enough with this. Oopsie. All right, let's go like that. And we're going to go back into X if I haven't been, you know. This is Judge Napolitano. Oops. I hope that the. Oh, I was right about Bongino, wasn't I, kids? Yeah. He's Obama's boy. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. Actually, his life story is Obama. But people just, for some reason, want to just, boy, oh boy, they just want to not believe it. Oh no, but I'm sure he's okay. He's just, we don't know what he's doing. I still like him. Oh, okay. Like I said, 2015, I was stoked. I literally think I jumped up and down a few times when I heard Trump speak for the first time. And I never liked Trump. And I'm right back there now. I don't like him. Not anymore. Let us listen to Jeffrey Sachs, who helped or was, I know I might be getting some of this history wrong, but I think I'm right. Bill Clinton, let's go back there. See, a lot of these podcasters weren't really alive and doing much during those years. So the wall came, so to speak, came down in 91. Clinton was elected in 92 and came into office in 93. Sachs was there, I can't remember during which years, with this Larry Summers guy, who's a big Clinton Obama dude. I mean, you're neo-Dem, circa Clinton on, because you had, the 80, you had, Carter, who was a farce, who actually started all this bullshit with Iran. I have been listening to this bullshit about, I've got to be careful. My new neighbors are from Iran and they've only been here 9 months. They just moved in 3 weeks ago and I'm friends with them. Like, I gave them a little miniature or a 5,000 BTU AC I had in my storage locker to use. It's actually quite good. It really was only used about 2 or 3 summers. And it's pre-Biden era restrictions on electronic products. So it actually works. And I said, it was about 100 degrees out, and we're up on the 3rd floor. It's fucking hotter than shit. Now, they're both veterinarians. And I can actually have a conversation with them, scientific conversation with them, because I have I've got my mom's preliminary autopsy results, and I have not had the courage to get up on my other channel and talk about it. I am freaked out, as I should be, over the death care system in this country. And the state of Wisconsin is the worst because it's one of just a few states where the doctor can just basically call an audible bed sign and just do whatever he wants. Patient has a DNR sign. We don't care. We're going to change that. What they did to me, my brother, and my poor mom, I think the worst part of all is $31,000 every visit to that effing, since it's okay to say fuck now, to that fucking oncologist, or as he'd say when we had our phone conversations, I'm a trained oncologist. I would bring up different reports and studies, and he'd say, well, yeah, I know about that, but it's in vitro. It's not in a live human study. And I'm like, yes, but I know, but it's a cheap drug that should be tried. Ivermectin. Oh, no, I'd never use that. Well, turns out with all the tumors she had, one of them taking up 95% of her liver, and no one caught it. And that's just one of the organs that had huge tumors growing out of it. 95% of her liver. That's in your upper right quadrant. My God. The lymph nodes of her stomach is where the private doctor, because I'm only going private now, in the future, like, unless, right now, with my injuries, I have to try the system because of surgical stuff. And she had a CT scan that said there might, days before her death, well, there might be a lesion here, but we can't really confirm it. A lesion. She's huffing and puffing. I tell him, I said, could you please have a nurse listen to her lungs? There's something wrong. There's nothing wrong with your mother. She had huge pulmonary embolisms and blood clots all over her lungs. Large organizing groups, as described. It's just a few things. That's the tip of the iceberg, what I'm telling you. Yet she got pumped with chemo, $31,000 a visit weekly. She was given a drug for a blood cancer, but that particular drug caused something called tumor lysis syndrome, which can, as quickly as one dose, begin causing tumors like turbo cancers in your body. I'm just using that phrase. I mean, I don't know that that's exactly what she had, but I'm pretty sure it was, because right now her tissue and toxicology is still sitting at Mayo Clinic, and it's probably going to be another month until we get the final result. Oh, it's serious. So I am not trusting anyone because she had so many tests run and so many x-rays and so many CTs. Yet all of this was missed. And she still had appointments booked when she died with this damn fucking oncologist who clearly was using her for every single penny he could suck out of her insurances because she had Medicare and 2 stops. She had a catastrophic with the VA. Then another one, my dad worked so hard to provide all that insurance, make sure everything was in place for them as a husband and wife, if they got sick, and yet the medical system failed them. It's called healthcare now. I'm sorry. So let's go to Jeffrey Sachs. This is what I'm saying. This country seriously needs to focus domestically, but now, let's just start another fucking war. What the fuck, right? So let's listen to, again, Sachs was over in Russia helping them rebuild, going from a communist model to a capitalist model. I'm being very simplistic here. And he does more than that. But he was very involved during the Clinton years in Russia. He knows what the fuck he's talking about. So this is going back to the Iranian stuff again. Oh, somehow, remember Iran-Contra? It's now Iran, I guess. Wow.
First of all, 25 hostages, and they're killing 50 to 100 innocent Palestinians every day. They're killing 50 to 100 innocent Palestinians every day by luring them to food sites and then shooting them deliberately. And we know this from testimony of IDF soldiers in recent days, carried in stories in Israeli media. They're mass murdering the Palestinians before our eyes. And this man talks about the moral and ethical responsibility. This man is a mass murderer. That's Mossad's job.
He's speaking of a Mossad agent that they just showed an interview with, but we're going to get to a deeper part here. Okay.
Now, Mossad and the CIA have a very strong relationship. They are closely allied in many operations around the world, especially in the Middle East, but in other regions as well. And that is a very key part of American foreign policy and a very key part of the U.S.-Israel relationship. The Mossad-CIA connection goes back at least more than 60 years, we know. It's very strong, and I always emphasize it is the CIA where you find our foreign policy, not the White House especially.
That's scary.
The CIA is the deep state. It keeps the long-term strategy, whether it's to try to weaken or overthrow governments in Russia or Iran or other places. It was the lead agency in a long war against the Syrian government that took hundreds of thousands of lives and culminated in a jihadist regime coming to power, which suddenly we declared to be our wonderful friend and ally, because in fact we run jihadists. The CIA does, and so does Mossad, contrary to what casual thought would suggest. So I'm not surprised by it, other than how clearly stated all of this is. That is just a long, professional, deadly, horrible relationship. Horrible because it has made a 4,000 kilometer swath of violence across North Africa, the Horn of Africa, the Eastern Mediterranean, and West Asia, running from Libya to Iran. This is murder incorporated, and murder, whether it's of leaders for overthrows of government or mass murders of Palestinians, does not solve anything other than making mayhem and murder.
If Netanyahu knows that Trump is either lying or has been grossly misled when he said it's totally obliterated, what do you expect he'll ask Trump to do next?
Well, there will be more war if Netanyahu has his choice. And what was apparent from even the involvement that the United States had is that Trump's own base is against this, as are most of the American people. Frankly, I think most Americans are sick of Israel's wars and
I've been losing my audio and internet all day too, but let's keep going.
Israel's murders and Israel's boasting about assassinations. They're sick of it. Not everyone, but most. And that is true in Trump's base as well. So Netanyahu will continue.
Trump lost me. I mean, he lost me 100%.
Continue to do what he's done for 30 years. He will continue to provoke. He will continue to make whatever claims and incentives he can to draw the United States into more war. And Trump got a tiny taste of what the real politics are. Trump could not motivate even his own strong supporters into supporting what the U.S. was doing.
No.
And that's why he had to go overboard to say.
I mean, he ran on this. Now, they, whoever they are, have been trying to begin a war with, during Biden, even during Obama. This crap in Syria. The whole Iran thing, I never thought I would see this because I've been listening to this crap for like, as Jeffrey said, 30 years. I'm like, ugh, actually since the 70s. So it's more than 30 years. Yeah, around. Maybe 35. After the whole Iran hostage crisis and all this crap. Okay.
Say what a wonderful, glorious, definitive success it is, because his base was against the whole thing. If he said, yeah, and it didn't work on top of that, it makes the whole thing absolutely absurd.
What are is it realistic to fear that Trump will use nuclear weapons next time around?
I don't think so. I really doubt that. I think that, as I say, the United States has no security risk in the world other than a nuclear war. And I think that this is really understood by a lot of people who still make wars, who still say, oh, we're threatened by this, we're threatened by that, we're threatened by global terrorism. Remember the war on global terror and how Americans were terrorized by all of this, which was never a threat in the way that it was described. I don't believe that we're anywhere close to having a nuclear war over this. But if you push other nuclear powers like Russia or North Korea or Pakistan, you could certainly provoke a nuclear war. That is absolutely, or China, obviously, I should mention, over Taiwan, another phony issue that would never be the issue it is were it not for the provocative American positions on this. Because if it weren't for America arming Taiwan, Taiwanese politicians would never do the provocative things that they are actually doing, many of them, which bring us closer to a direct confrontation between the US and China. In other words, I don't believe that this is leading to America's first use of a nuclear weapon, but I do believe it is leading us to the real possibility of a nuclear war that completely becomes a global annihilation. That, I think, is the real point I'm trying to make, which is that our foreign policy is so erratic, so irresponsible, so devoid of true international principles, so filled with a lot of BS that that's what makes it very dangerous for us.
Would Netanyahu is he crazy enough to use nuclear weapons against Iran?
Under certain circumstances, yes. If the state of Israel was threatened by a massive attack by Iran that followed an attack by Israel, then yes, that's absolutely possible. And that's one of the things that could trigger a global nuclear war. And Netanyahu absolutely would. That's why Israel has them. And Israel thinks it can provoke any side. It has pretended that its Iron Dome and other air defense systems give an absolute protection to Israel. Now we see that this is completely false. And so if Israel provokes another attack, and there's a massive attack from Iran that is threatening the heart of Israel, and one can imagine many ways that that could happen, then I have no doubt that Israel would contemplate the use of one or more of its nuclear weapons. So any state threatened with survival that has nuclear weapons would do so. And this is definitely true of Israel, given this mentality that is there, which is stoking up dangers because it refuses to have any kind of real diplomacy with the Arab world over the core issue that has been the core issue for 100 years, and that is the right of Palestinians that also live in the same area as Israel and that Israel is occupying. And because of that, the violence continues to soar. Israel provokes. It is not in a strong position the way that it thinks it is, and last week exposed its vulnerabilities. It counts on the United States to rescue it, but we can see that the United States may say, no, don't
No
do
way.
that. The Israel provokes, believing that the U.S. will follow. The U.S. doesn't follow. Mass response from the Iranian side, and then Israel feels that its survival is a threat, and it uses a nuclear weapon, after which there could be many scenarios of Pakistan defending Iran, or North Korea, or many other things that one could imagine that could then lead on to a nuclear war that would rapidly get out of hand and destroy the world. That's why every single thing that we're doing in all of this is so unbelievably dangerous and reckless.
Yeah.
It's hard to put into words without profanity. Sorry to say. And while the president uses profanity, we're not going to use profanity the same way. And the fact of the matter is, we need diplomacy. We need diplomacy to end the war in Ukraine. We need diplomacy to end a potential conflict over Taiwan. And we need diplomacy to create a state of Palestine alongside a state of Israel, and to end Israel's wars of regime change, because these are the conflicts that could destroy the world, not in one step, but in one step with escalation, with retaliation, with the pressing one side to use a nuclear weapon, leading to a nuclear exchange, leading to a rapid escalation that ends the world. And there is a book that I may have mentioned in our past discussions, but I recommend it to anybody that wants a chilling and accurate account of how the world could come to an end in 2 hours and 10 minutes. It's called Nuclear War, a Scenario, by the investigative journalist Annie Jacobson. It's a superb, accurate, technical, chilling account of what I'm describing, which could happen in any of these war zones, which is why we need diplomacy, not games, not regime change operations, now not Lindsey Graham, our most dangerous and reckless senator, who posts "Game on" as Israel strikes and the United States strikes Iran. Game on. This is not a game.
Oh my God.
Professor Sachs, thank you very much. Thank you for your analysis, as painful as a lot of this is. Truly, truly, and profoundly appreciated. I know it's the middle of the night where you are. Thank you for staying up for us. All the best,
Of course.
friend. We'll
See you next week.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Coming up tomorrow, Tuesday, July.
Okay, so those are just a few of my thoughts. I think we need to be very careful here, guys. And I started with the comedy because actually this is very comedic. It's silly and comedic and wrong, and you could make a joke out of it. But it's the truth, which is very scary. All right, so I hope everyone has a good night. Okay.